I can see all three of us.
All right, guys. Alex here again with Conservatism of Texas, established 2019, and also Randall County Republican chair for the 111. I attended a meeting here last Thursday. I was invited by Hope here in the middle. Hi, Hope. And I'll say it was quite interesting. We've all heard about the school closures in the last year or so, Park Hills,
Yes.
Sunrise,
Yes.
and Pleasant Valley.
Yes. Our school.
Yeah, that's right. And so I wanted to come and listen in a little bit. And I encourage everyone out in Amarillo to start to do those things because information is key. Hosea 4:6 speaks on my people perish for lack of knowledge. And you just got to be in the know what's going on and get well ahead of it. It wouldn't be in the word if it wasn't important, right?
Correct.
So I'm very, very appreciative of these folks taking some time this morning. And
We appreciate you too.
you're
coming to
very
listen
welcome.
to us.
You're very, very welcome. Let me start by asking what's the official kind of name of the association where people can kind of find you.
We're on Facebook. We've listed ourselves as All Pleasant Valley and River Road City and Potter County Initiative Plan. We've included Potter County because they also contribute to the oversight committee to these funds and grants that we're going to be applying for.
Okay, good. And how do you guys know each other? Are y'all just neighbors, or how did that come about as far as your guys' relationship?
Katrina Emerson, who has grandchildren that go to Pleasant Valley, she started a petition online, and I caught wind of it, and so I started helping to circulate it. And I put the feel out there. I said, "Hey, does anybody want to come on board with us and try to help us fight to save the school? Because without a school, we have no community. There's three pillars of a community. You have the school, the church, and then the people itself, like the businesses and the residents.
Sure.
And if one of those pillars fall, the rest of the community will fall." And so James emailed me, got online and contacted me. And then over here is Chanel Herring, and she and her family have been out here since Pleasant Valley settled. And this here is our mutual grandson. So
Hey, buddy.
he goes to school at Pleasant Valley, so that's why we've started this fight, is for him and our neighbors. Casey Mitchell, who has Maverick that goes to school, Michaela Wynn, who has a 6-year-old that goes to school, Danny Luan, who has a set of twins that go to school there, and they've all become friends, and we want them to grow up together out here.
Okay, good.
And it's always been a close community out here.
Yeah.
We used to, run the streets, or, they knew everybody out here. So
Mhm.
it was pretty close, and pretty family oriented.
Yeah. I had cousins out here, so I spent a lot of my early years coming out here. I think it was the first place I got stung by a bee. And we were real small. It was, sounds like it. I think it was mountain. The road was mountain.
Street over.
Yeah, and
That's where I grew up.
and they still live here. The Garcias. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember
Israel.
Israel. That's my cousin. They live over here on St. Francis now. And it was great. We'd get in the backyard, play with the chickens, chase them. They'd chase us, and
Yeah, a lot of
What
our
a-
neighbors have farm animals, and that's one of the benefits of living out here. You have, each lot has a lot of room to do anything.
Mhm.
Farm animals, gardens, and we're not on top of each other.
Mhm.
We want to sit out here and visit and stuff. Our neighbors are not just behind the fence listening to us.
Yeah.
And vice
beautiful way
versa.
of life. And
Yes.
we want a school. I've heard it once said before: a school is the heartbeat of the community.
Yes.
Right.
And that's always stuck with me. So we'll start with you, James. Tell us a little bit about yourself. 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll go over to you, Hope, and then to you,
Okay.
Miss Chanel.
I married my wife, so I've been out in this area since 1980, dating her and coming out here and seeing their property out here.
Mhm.
My father-in-law lived out here 90 years before he passed, so we have generations
Yes,
of
sir.
people out here on Morning Drive, just a block over this way.
Mhm.
And he had 2 lots over there. He ran cows, he ran horses, had chickens, fighting roosters, all the whole 9 yards out there. But when I married my wife, we went to the Navy and traveled and ended up in Houston. Then we moved back up here in 2019 when I retired, and to take care of my mother and my wife's mother, who still lives over here.
Mhm.
So it's been a community that we've always loved and thought was the greatest thing in the world. You can be part of Amarillo, but still be far enough away to not get caught up in the rat race
Yeah.
of the city.
You're still close enough to drive into town if you want to deal
Right.
with the Jerry Springer show or whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to drive across town, and our hope is to bring in some business so we don't have to leave the community just to get groceries and the basic necessities. So that's what we're trying to bring in.
Appreciate your service.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How long did you serve?
I served 10 years in the Navy, and then a few years in the Army, and then served as a Department of Army civilian for 11 years.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service. And the real McCoy. You want to hear a funny story about that?
Sure.
You know where that came from?
No.
There was a McCoy, a sprinkler head individual, made it out of all metal or whatnot, and others tried to undercut and make their sprinkler head. And when the irrigation folks, it didn't pan out, they said, I want the real McCoy. Because they called theirs something McCoy also. But anyways, so go ahead, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Hope McCoy. I have not lived out here in Pleasant Valley very long, but my husband and I got here as quick as we could. And we moved out here because of my grandson. His parental heritage has been out here since they settled, as we were saying. And we moved out here to help support, get him to and from school while Mom has to work at night at the emergency room at Northwest. And like they say, it takes a village to raise your children. And this is a great village out here. Like I said, he's got several friends out here. And we're just out here just to try to keep Pleasant Valley alive for another 100 years. And I feel like I've been like a community activist my whole life. I have another Facebook group of just sisterhood, a bunch of ladies. We get together, try to do something for the community every 3-6 months. And that's just, out of the kindness of our hearts and our pockets, what we can do. Like, the seniors, the veterans, animal shelters. And when I heard that Pleasant Valley was going to be closing, I'm like, that's my next project. I want to keep it open for my grandson because his dad went to school there, his grandmother went to school there, and it's just a great part of Pleasant Valley's heritage. And it's going to be a great shame for them to close the school, even though while keeping the lights on, it's not going to be occupied. The teachers are still going to be getting paid, but just to be at a different school. So we're still not sure how they're going to be expecting to save money by not letting the students go to school there when everything's going to be the same, but at a different school.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're just trying to engage with the community to come on board with us, listen to us. We're not trying to change the way of life out here. We like the peaceful quiet. We like that people can have their chickens in their backyard. We like the open space. We just trying to improve it a little bit, make it look a little prettier. Fix up River Road so when somebody's coming back to town or leaving town, they want to drive through River Road because it is a nice, historic, scenic part of Amarillo.
Out here. It's beautiful out here.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
everything seems to be building south, and the country goes north from this area.
There's more room for expansion out north than there is south.
Yes,
you can only get so close to
with the new loop coming, we're hoping that we get a couple of bigger businesses like another Sam's or Walmart. We don't want like 100 businesses, but just enough amenities so that we here in Pleasant Valley, our neighbors in River Road, even people from the vineyards, they can just come a couple of blocks over and do a little shopping, grab a burger. Pizza Planet, we don't know what's going to happen with it, if it's going to be reopened or not. So, a pizza place, just some, mom and pop shops, maybe 1 or 2 chains, just so we don't constantly have to be driving clear across
Keep
town.
a pulse going.
Right.
Yeah. And then with the new Crossbar Ranch opening, the recreation park, we might need, we could use a little urgent care out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, just simple things so that we're not constantly having to drive to the southwest part of town
Mm-hmm.
for every little thing.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And your name is Chanel, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a lifelonger out here.
Mhm.
My whole family is. They settled out here, and my great aunt actually went to Pleasant Valley, and then they taught at Pleasant Valley. And I'm nearly, well, I ain't gonna tell you about how old I am, but I've been out here a long time. I mean, like I said, my family moved and settled out here when there wasn't nothing out here. And so when Pleasant Valley also has been a big support, of our community, of somebody that would move out here because of it being an A-rated school, it's been that way ever since I was young. I mean, it's always had strive for education, and we did have, I mean, back then we didn't have, the population, so mixed and everything, but now we do,
Mm-hmm.
and we have more, culture and stuff out here, which is great.
Yeah.
And, it's just a close community, and we got space, and I've got horses and, mules too, and have animals. And that's great to be, able to have all that around us still.
Yeah.
We don't want that taken away. And that's one of the biggest things is that, was grandfathered in a long time ago, able to have that kind of livestock and stuff out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's country living with a little bit of city amenities like running water and electricity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Not on a well.
and plenty
Right.
of space for the kids to run, and don't have a little 10 by 10 backyard, and there's like motorcycle racing, stuff like that. There's actually room for the kids to play.
So you
And
say
dogs to run.
So you say you're not on wells, so you are paying into the tax rate into the city.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes. We have
Okay.
water,
So
their water
yeah.
infrastructure, sewage, solid waste.
So as far as the City Connect, has any council members, y'all said this started about 2 years ago when y'all caught wind, AISD made mention. Has any council members got in contact with you guys? Spoke with any of you?
I started into this late after the official
Mhm.
announcement, in December that they were officially going to be closing Pleasant Valley. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So once Katrina Emerson started the petition, like I said, I got on board and started trying to figure out what to do, who to talk to.
Yeah.
We've asked the school board, ASD, twice to be put on their agenda to have an open answer question conversation. They've denied us. Now, on this past Monday, President Quarter, Kevin Phillips, Deputy Superintendent, and Lisa Morgan, Elementary Superintendent, they did meet with both Chanel and I, and they tried to give us their best answers, but we're still not understanding how they're going to save money by they're not closing the doors. They're by moving the students and the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So all the teachers are still going to be getting paid. Nobody's being laid off, thank goodness. But the building will still have a custodian there to keep an eye on things. All the lights, electricity, everything will be running as normal, heat and air, as if somebody is actually there, but just no students or teachers will be inside. So we don't understand how are they going to be saving $1 million if they're still going to be paying the insurance and taxes and whatnot on the building. And we're grateful that the building is not going to be boarded up and be a big eyesore in the community, but we just don't understand what the difference is between shifting the teachers and students versus letting them stay at Pleasant Valley and continue as they have been.
Yeah. Well, I've heard you mention that a couple of times that the teachers are still going to go somewhere else. What about the cafeteria workers? How many do you think were working there, and are they going to be going somewhere? Have you heard?
As far as we know, nobody's getting laid off.
Really? Okay.
Everybody's got a position somewhere.
Okay.
I just still feel bad for Mr. Cardenas because he still doesn't know what school he's going to get to go to. Everybody else does, except the main person Mr. Cardenas, who has kept the staff alive and going since COVID and making sure they stay A-rated school. I mean, he's been the heart of the school, a wonderful man, and now he's getting shifted.
Now, was he at another school before this one at all, or?
Uh,
Because I've heard of that name before, and
yes.
thought he was at. I know
Yeah.
there was a Cardenas at.
He has a connection with the school district.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's been at Pleasant Valley since 2019 when
Okay.
that principal retired. He got moved up. And he said he would have loved to have retired from Pleasant Valley
Yeah.
Elementary because the teachers are great, the parents are great. And now, sadly, they're going to move him somewhere, and he's the only one that doesn't know
Wow.
where he's going.
Yeah.
I want to say Conquistadors, the school over there off of 34th in Georgia, but I don't remember. What would you guys? Where would you guys like to see things be this time next year? What would give you confidence that something is moving in the right direction?
For me, first of all, would be to get the city departments engaged, so we can see them out here catching up. Things haven't changed out here in 66 years, and that's devastating. But
Mhm.
what I want to read this part of the
Yeah.
notes I have from the annexation that happened in 1959, 1960. In section 3, it says the inhabitants residing within the confines of the annexed territory shall be entitled to all the rights and privileges of all the citizens of Amarillo and shall be bound by the charter, ordinances, resolutions, and other regulations of the city of Amarillo. So because we're Pleasant Valley does not mean we are set aside as citizens. We are still tax-paying citizens,
Yeah.
law-abiding citizens, no different than any other community in the city of Amarillo.
We pay our fair share of
Yeah,
taxes.
we pay the same amount of taxes every neighborhood in Amarillo, the same percentage.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different.
So
But
you
yeah.
go into a grocery store and you buy a loaf of bread, and there's 60 slices. Why aren't you getting 60 slices?
Why
Paying
couldn't
the
we
same
get
price.
30?
Why are you getting 10
Why can't we get
slices?
30?
Pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So we're afforded by our Constitution of the United States of America. There's no taxation without representation. So you're kind of getting at where is the
And
representation?
I've been saying that
And-
from day one.
And we're not talking lip service. We're talking action.
We're
We're
you can get
talking-
that free of charge. That's
Yeah.
easy. You don't have to pay anything for that.
Yeah.
Because you will get that, and you have to be on the alert because you need to have critical thinking background and know that what doesn't pass the smoke test or the smell test. If it smells like fish, it's probably a fish.
One thing I teach my girls, and I talk to others about it, not what they say, what they've done.
Mhm.
That's the fruit.
Where's your
Yes.
history? What have you done? And my question when I go up there every single time and speak to someone is, what do you do for Pleasant Valley?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
What?
Your kryptonite is
and it-
yesterday.
That
And you
shifts
asked,
automatically.
Yeah.
yes, and you asked if anybody's come out here.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I have emailed the mayors and Tom Shirley. Like, come look around out here, and you can see the potential. Look at Pleasant Valley through our eyes. Valley Shopping Center, that's a whole big corner that could be revitalized. River Road itself, there's some abandoned buildings and whatnot. If we could get like the bad torn down and somebody come in and put in something newer and fresher, just the little things like that. That's what I would like to see happen in the next year. I'd
Okay.
like for all the councilmen, not just the mayor, not just Tom Shirley, but when after the election is over, for all the new elected councilmen to come out here, drive around Pleasant Valley, look at the good. There is some bad and there is some ugly, but for the most part, it's beautiful out here.
Mhm.
And we're not playing cookie cutter community. You see different things, different styles of houses.
Mhm.
I mean, some beautiful houses and full grown trees, and there's room for revitalization. There's
Mhm.
lots that could have a brand new home, and then you have the big space around you to put up a shop, raise some animals, or just let your kids and your dogs run around openly, freely, and just have a good country life, but like with the city amenities, and your neighbor's not going to be on top of you.
Yes, ma'am. Chanel, what would you like to see this time next year as far as progress?
Well, it's the school left open
Yes,
or
ma'am.
reopened
Yes.
for sure. And then also, like I said, some lights or, just kind of upkeep and stuff in the community, not scared that
Yeah.
we're wanting to bring in, all these businesses and change this totally. And that's a big deal. I mean, to, the ones that's lived out here for many years.
Mhm.
Is they don't want it turned into, middle of the city or downtown or whatever.
Well,
And
to
I'd
Mr.
like
Brown's,
to, get their sport where they feel comfortable.
yes, ma'am. And speaking of the new businesses and the I don't want to use the word fear per se, but you don't want it to
The
look
chemistry.
so different. And
Right.
to your point, really, new businesses would be fantastic, but that shouldn't be the driver.
Right.
You're paying into the tax system, and
Right.
that should always be,
Yeah.
you know,
We should be reciprocated
yeah.
with services. Every
bus
every
transportation
citizen
for
in
our
Amarillo.
veterans,
Yeah.
Every
handicap access sidewalks,
Hmm.
street lighting, curbs and gutter. I mean, we're a part of Amarillo. We're between two new subdivisions like the Vineyards and over across the
St. Francis.
St. Francis, the Fox Hollow Fox
Mhm.
Ridge addition. Yes, we understand that when those developers and builders come in, they're responsible for putting in like the curbs and gutters
Mhm.
and sidewalks. But when Pleasant Valley was built, that was not a forethought. So when we got annexed into the city, like curbs and gutters and drainage we pay for on our water bills. That should be something addressed by the city, and not for us to have to wait for the neighborhood initiative plan to go through, whether it does or doesn't. That
So you're
should just-
paying for drainage, but there's no drainage
Correct.
implement.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
even. I've had them come out and look at the drainage, and I've sent them pictures of at least 8 bridges where drainage runs from the north of Thompson Park,
Hmm.
and it crosses every main road going down to Thompson Park, and it empties into the Thompson Park Lake right
Mhm.
there.
So the the drainage fee right now, do y'all know what it looks like on your bill? What's that number?
Well, the cheapest thing is water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid waste is a big one, and the fees and the sewage is another big one.
So when it comes to
Yeah.
drainage, folks are being charged that.
Yes.
So times your reading of the annexation. I mean, that's well into the. It gets up there. So
Yeah, when you're talking
going
back to
I would imagine.
1960, when you became
Point.
a part of Amarillo,
So
became
that's
citizen of Amarillo,
there's
because
no-
it wasn't. They were, and you can read through the minutes where they weren't in favor of annexation
Mhm.
because they didn't want things changed out here. But they said we're going to promise you curbs and streets and roads and improvements. And
Wow.
but so far I don't want to say they're lying, but I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm going to say it as this: the annexes, they're probably not around anymore.
Yeah.
So we have an election right now. So with the current mayor, if he wins again, and then the councilmen that come in, they can take this annexation
Document.
document and uphold it. Finally, they can come through for us out here in Pleasant Valley and right the wrong that was done from annexation date.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
what we're asking them to do.
Yeah.
Is just take a look at us out here and
Make it right.
make it right.
And there's something coming this way, the Port of Plains,
Mhm.
right? And we got to be ready. It's got to be ready. That's going to bring some things this way. And I want to read to you guys something that I seen on Port of Plains as it pertains to Amarillo.
Okay.
Says here, where did it go? Nevertheless, I'm going to read just the top part. The Port of Plains corridor is a 2,300-mile-long multi-state highway route that connects the U.S.-Mexico border to Canada. It's a major transportation and economic artery for the energy and agricultural industries in North America. The corridor is a designated high priority corridor by Congress and is crucial for the efficient movement of goods and people between the U.S., Mexico, and Canada borders. That's big.
That's huge.
Yes,
That's very. I mean, that's massive.
it's right here in our backyard.
Yeah, just right here. What, maybe 2-3 miles to our west.
Right.
Yes,
We got to get ready
Yes.
for that.
yes.
You know,
Not
and,
just that, but then when the Crossbar Ranch Recreation Park opens up in 2028, I mean, when people are going to be driving through here, I'm sure they'd like to stop, not necessarily at a McDonald's, but somewhere where they could get a few little groceries and snacks, to take to the park with them, some ice for their coolers, and or maybe a little hotel if they just want to come for the day, spend the night, and then just take their bicycle, not necessarily come in a camper and a trailer and tents, just bike ride out there for the day.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 other schools that shut down: Park Hills and Sunrise.
Yes.
Have y'all had any conversations with anyone?
I've been to both schools.
Yes, sir.
I went in as a citizen, Amarillo.
Yes, sir.
Got to the lobby, and the doors were locked.
Which school was this?
Both.
Oh, both of them.
Yeah. So I had to talk to the glass.
Okay.
There was 2 officers at the, I want to say, Sunrise School, maybe in Park Hill.
Okay.
One of them had 2 AISD police officers, and I've been educated on that through the police department, and not so much through the Amarillo Independent School District. That feels they have to have their own police department, which to me is a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Kind of in a way, but didn't make sense. But that
Sure.
is what it is. So, and they were sitting there on the desk of these office workers, and I said, "I'm with Pleasant Valley. I need to talk to someone about the school closing." And I'm here. Here's my number, and my phone, and my name, and everything.
Yes, sir.
And give them a little sheet like this to identify myself.
Yes.
And they said, "Well, we'll have them call you." Well, of course, that never happened. I never take that as for sure. It's not the gospel.
Yeah.
But never anyone contacted me. I drove around both neighborhoods looking for a business to be open to see if they had a point of contact or a center of influence in the town where I could talk with them about if they're fighting to keep their school open. And I met with negative resistance in every case. They didn't know anything about the school. They didn't know anything about the community. It was like I was in communist China or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wow. So,
I've seen a few Facebook videos of parents, upset and concerned about their school closing. Now, if it's gone beyond, making a Facebook post, I don't know, but I know they're just as upset about it as we are. We're just trying to be a little bit more vocal and proactive of showing the school board that, we're serious. We want to keep Pleasant Valley Elementary open, because if not, it will kill our community.
Yeah.
Because unlike other schools, it's not tucked away behind in some little neighborhoods. Pleasant Valley is on River Road, a major access point that you get off Dumas Drive, and it's a main road that takes you through Pleasant Valley and then further into our neighbor's River Road. Everybody that comes this way, you see the school, and you've got little businesses around it that depend on that foot traffic in the morning, like the new donut stop. No, what's it called? Got Donuts place, J&B, across the street's Burrito Rico, and then David's Mexican Restaurant. Stop in there and get some more chata in the afternoon. There's a lot of little businesses that it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
And we already know a few little families, they didn't own homes here. They rented, and they can move on. But the rest of us that are homeowners, we don't have that option.
What I visualize, and you saying that in my head, what was coming across my mind's eye was taking something out of the refrigerator and now it's sitting on the counter, and the clock is ticking when it becomes bad. To me, it seems like when an elementary school is shut down, when people want to move to Amarillo, they're not going to want to move into a community where there's no school for their children.
Exactly.
And then if you move into another Potter County school. What's guaranteed that it's going to be open another year?
That's right. And so,
because at the last school board meeting, Mr. Loomis stated himself that there could be possible future more schools closing.
wow. And it's not going to be good for that.
Those communities either.
Yeah.
Closing any school in any community that tax dollars pay for, it just shouldn't be allowed.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't believe there was too much of a discussion or a survey neither
Hmm.
that it was supposedly surveyed or whatever for this school to close or be one of the ones up to close.
Well, Mr. Brown seems like one that probably has already asked for those, I'm sure. So what's happened there?
I get zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no. I can't get any documentation from any entity, either the school district or the city of Amarillo, about anything that had. And everybody comes out and say we did an economic study. Well, where is this study?
Right.
That it's not beneficial to open businesses in Pleasant Valley. Well, where's the study? Who did the study? And what was their incentive? How much did you commission them for? What was your reason for sending them out there in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
I get nothing. It's like, well, you said they did, but you're telling me there's no documentation. I'm a taxpayer. I vote for the mayor. I vote for all these people. If you can't provide me documentation that I can read, it didn't happen.
So when it came to the decision, who made that decision? Who was it?
Nobody will take the credit. I'm going to take credit for it.
Really?
Yeah. It's just that it was done. It was just done. Believe me, I'm telling you, it was done. So it was
The
done.
AISD board.
I'm like, sorry,
It's because the budget had to cut.
But someone has to be on some type of committee, the board, to greenlight that.
Whether it be the Economic Development Council, which is up for.
But what we know for sure is no one's wanting
so
to take.
who wants to take credit for it?
Mr. Phillips, Kevin Phillips says it was a really hard decision for them to make.
Well, who's the they?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Who's the they? Yeah.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
So.
And we want to see on paper, how are they going to save $1 million closing each school
Mm-hmm.
that, oddly enough, is more than 50% Hispanic in each school.
Yeah.
Rather than closing a school, which requires a lot of logistics, moving people around different locations, busting gas, all that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to cost extra. What is wrong with amending the policy that there is a minimum of 300 students per school?
Disperse it out. Yeah.
Move it to 200. We're rural.
Right.
And the statistics the Amarillo Independent School District gave Mr. Cardenas, which I've seen, shows every school, every town, every area in the United States is decreasing in young people. People aren't having children and sending them to school. They're worrying more about their education and their careers than they are having children. And that's just the way of the world. Whether it comes a roller coaster and comes back up 10 years from now in the next era, who knows?
Yeah.
But you got to take things as they are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Since we're out here, not more inner city, they kind of consider us rural. I grew up in a rural school. We had less than 200 students from kindergarten to high school.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on to have doctors, lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
Even one of our older classmates went on to be chaplain at Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
So we need, just because we're a small rural school doesn't mean our kids are not as smart as the inner city kids, but we need our A-rated school to stay open for this little part of Amarillo, because we are still a part of Amarillo, to continue to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Taking away our little school is different than closing one that's inner city.
What I heard you say earlier about A-rated.
A-rated blue ribbon.
I know some will say, well, you probably don't have a lot of students in your classroom, so there's more attention. But I heard you say earlier that it's been that way for decades. It's always been A-rated, even way back when.
For my grandson's pre-K class, they had so many students that they had to bring in a second teacher, Mrs. Ray, to help Mrs. Capel because the class was so big. So they had to divide his pre-K in two.
Okay.
So that's hopeful.
Yes.
And let's talk about education. Do we want our kids educated or just slammed into a big classroom that they're not getting that one-on-one attention? And that's what's good about with Pleasant Valley. is because it hasn't been so big. They've actually been able to educate our kids, and not just the numbers and stuff, and make sure and be able to have one-on-one time better with these kids out here.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
with big classrooms, my whole family is teachers, everybody. And that was one of the biggest things is the overcrowding and not being able to actually spend time, especially kids that may be a little bit slower,
Mhm.
that they're just pushed through the system. Let's just get
Yeah.
them passed.
Yeah.
Let's just get them passed. And Pleasant Valley has never been like that.
And we've asked. I mean, supposedly Pleasant Valley only has room for like 325 children. At capacity, they were almost at 350 at one
Mhm.
point. So we've asked, why not give children, other children, the opportunity to come to Pleasant Valley to give us our numbers and
Mhm.
give them the opportunity to uh, be educated by these wonderful teachers, by Mr. Cardenas and his staff, get to come to an A-rated school versus their B or C school, and we were still shut
Yeah.
down on
If
that.
I mean that bus has reverse,
Yes.
you can turn it around and come this way, right?
Yes.
We do
Yes.
have, and Mr. Cardenas was the first day. We had children coming from that their parents drive them from Highland Park.
Yeah, over
Now
60,
that's how
over
serious they
60
take
kids.
their kids' education going to a Class A school. They don't have to drive them. They pass how many schools coming to Pleasant
Mhm.
Valley
Yeah.
along their way.
That's right.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about some future meetings and some dates that you guys have where folks could come in and listen in on some
We,
things.
we don't have, we just had a public meeting Thursday. We don't have a future one set yet. We're going to meet first with City Manager Grayson Path on
Okay.
Monday. We're going to have a sit down discussion with him. And then once we get our meeting over with and have some questions answered, and hopefully we'll have answers for our residents, then we'll set a date for a future public meeting.
Okay.
And like I said, we want our residents for Pleasant Valley and River Road to know we're not trying to change the way of life out here. We're just trying to get, like for our veterans, handicap access, sidewalks, and a bus route so they can go to
Yeah.
their doctor's appointments. We want to improve our park so that our kids have somewhere in the community to go and have fun. Because like right now, the equipment that was there was vandalized, but you don't have even like picnic tables, awning over it, no water fountain, no restroom. I mean, you can go out there and walk, but then if you need to go to the bathroom and want some water or anything, I mean, you've got to get in your car and go back home.
Yes, ma'am. So where can people go to find your information, and what can people do to help?
Talk to us, engage with us. When we put a question out there on Facebook, on our page, reply to us. Most people I know these days, they have a Facebook page. You see the number of followers, like in the Pleasant Valley communities, the River Road community, because part of Pleasant Valley is connected with River Road. If you see us standing out on the side of the road with signs, stop and
Yes.
talk to us. Don't
Engage.
just drop. Engage with us. We're here to voice what you think, what you want, what you hear, what you see, what you want done or not done. Talk to us. Let us know.
Yes, ma'am.
Just
Well-
have the community support.
Community support.
And,
Yes.
and be aware of what's going on and what their goals are too.
Yes. Pay attention. Not just necessarily to
Yeah.
what we're doing. Pay attention to what your mayor's doing. Pay attention to what your councilman's doing. Pay attention what the ASD board is doing. The AEDC. I mean, there's a lot of different political groups out there, and everybody's agenda may align. It may not align, but let's form our own alignment out here, and let's push this bus
I
forward.
would love to invite you guys to do a fireside chat with us someday. Back in 2024, is May 16th, we had a community connect that had to do with the North Heights, their infrastructure, water pressure,
Yes.
H2S gas,
Yes.
and we feel as conservatives of Texas. I understand community is very, very important to the degree where you want to keep your matters in house sometimes, but the reason we expanded it out of the North Heights and put it to where we meet is to let the rest of the city know,
Yeah.
these are your fellow neighbors.
Yeah.
They need help.
Yes.
They need some attention here, and we're all Amarillo citizens.
Yeah.
You know.
I tell people I live in Pleasant Valley, and they're like, "Well, where's that? Where's that
Yeah.
at?" So, I mean,
Mhm.
thank you for listening to us, coming out to us, so we can tell everybody, "Hey, we're a part of we're Pleasant Valley.
Mhm.
We're a part of Amarillo. We're on the north side, part of the original Amarillo.
Mhm.
Hello, we're your neighbors."
Yeah. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to give a 2-minute close, and then we'll end our podcast here. So we'll start with you, Mr. Brown, and then
Okay.
Chanel, you'll go next, and then I want you to end in the middle. Okay.
Okay. Now, thank you for bringing this to everybody's attention and bringing your podcast out here to us. And that's nice of you to come in on a beautiful day like this.
Yeah,
and
you're
listen
very
to
welcome.
to the dogs and birds and stuff.
Mhm.
But what we really aim to do is to make this community a viable community where we're self sufficient, not to be independent, not to be independent, but not relying on the city. We
Mhm.
want to use the services that we pay for. We want to get service from the city, and we want to keep our school open. That's our main objective. We're not here to bring in an HOA. All these myths and rumors, we want to debunk them. We're not about that. We don't want them ourselves, so we're going to keep our own privacy here in town. But we want to get the people involved. We have to have numbers to talk with the city,
Sure.
keep our schools open, and that means you may have to come out of your comfort zone, go to a meeting, come up on the net, get online, tell us what you want so we can push it forward. If we know we got support, we don't mind going to City Hall, Sims Building, Parks and Rec every day of the week. I do. I go up there at least once or twice a week when I'm not in the community doing something productive and,
Mhm.
and making a difference. And I can't do it by myself. I'm getting older, so I have to depend on others to help me. But I don't mind doing it. I don't live here, but I do have family here. And it's important for me because of their issues they have. I want to see them accomplished, and I want to see down the road the future. I have a vision what it's going to look like in the future.
Yeah, I'm excited.
With businesses, big businesses
Yeah.
coming in and making a difference here.
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Brown, thank you for your time. Chanel.
So mine is, like I said, for Pleasant Valley and also for the community to come back together and don't be scared. And to, be able to improve and grow, but yet stay how we are in country, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
How we still have our freedom and, with animals and stuff that we can do our own eggs. We can do
Yes, ma'am.
our own gardens or whatever. And we can sustain out here. But we also need that improvement and not to be scared to bring things in. Like the Crossbar Ranch when it's open. So it's going to be a big deal, a big revenue out here. And, to be able to grow because progression, we have to grow, somewhat. We can still stay, that small, community, how we are living country out here and
Mhm.
more country. We have more space. We're not back to back door with some other
Yes, ma'am.
house and stuff. But we want people to understand the taxes we pay, we are not just like the whole government. We don't know where our taxes are actually going.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be a decision on what we want to spend that on.
Mhm.
And if we're paying in, then it should be the same back to us.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you for your
You're
time as well,
Thank
Chanel.
you.
You're very welcome.
Yes. Again, I'm Hope McCoy, Pleasant Valley resident, and I invite the mayor, the councilman, all the ASD board members, and anybody else in the community that doesn't know where Pleasant Valley is. Drive out here, get on I-27, keep coming on Dumas Highway, get off at the River Road exit, and get on these little back roads up and down these little streets. And yes, you will see some ugly houses, but you will also see some beautiful ones. Some with big lots, up to an acre, acre and a half, 3/4 acre. We have plenty of spacious room for you and your families. And if we can get some young families involved to come and look and decide that this is a place for you, help us get our numbers back up, because I assure you that if you bring your children to school at Pleasant Valley, they will get a wonderful A-rated the best of the best teachers and a principal, Mr. Cardenas, that cares about you as the parent, and you and your children will thrive out here. Come and look at how beautiful and quiet it's country living. But like I said, you don't have to worry about your own well sewage system, because I mean, we're not like any part of Amarillo. We have, big beautiful trees, we have little hills and dips, and it's quiet out here. I mean, yes, you might hear chickens in the morning, but you'll learn to love it just like the rest of us have.
Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully soon, if we get some attention, that the city will listen to us and get a little bit of revitalization going on out here, some infrastructure. I mean, for River Road Street itself, it needs cleaning up. We need those streets and sidewalks and curbs and gutters and handicap access. I can see part of River Road becoming a little bit of like how 6th Street is. It's not full of chains or big chain stores. Just they're all 6th Street's full of little mom and pop shops. That's kind of what we would like to see done out here. Yes, like on the corner of Hastings and River Road, there's a shopping center there. It needs complete overhaul, especially if Pizza Planet doesn't open back up. Dollar General has decided not to come back in, which that hurts our community. So we need just some city amenities, some city stores, so that we're not constantly having to drive all the way to the southwest part of town.
Yes, ma'am.
Even like a little urgent care, so we're having to drive all the way, in case of emergency, somewhere that could be life-saving for somebody. Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
we're just asking for a little bit. We don't want a total rehaul of our whole community. We want to keep it the same. We just want a little cleanup, a little infrastructure, a little bit of revitalization, some recognition. The city annexed into Amarillo. Okay, uphold your end of the bargain on this contract that they signed, that your forefathers signed.
Well, good. Well, thank you all. And I would love to probably meet up with Mr. Cardenas someday. One thing that I do know about principals and teachers, it's breaking their heart, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Miss England, who's been there over 20-something years. I mean, these people have names.
Yeah.
They're not just employees.
I mean, you love your kids.
They're part of Pleasant Valley School history.
It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind.
It's got to be heartbreaking.
I went there the other day, and the school let out. I was standing outside, and the little kids came walking by, and they every one of them shook my hand. And I mean, I was sweating in my eyeball, but they were so nice and positive. They weren't running helter skelter, screaming and yelling. They were walking with their parents out to their car, but they were shaking and talking to everyone they passed.
Yeah.
And I walked into his office, and a little boy said, "I'm Eric. What's your name?" His father's standing right there, and he goes, and I'm like, "My name's James, Eric. It's nice to meet you." And that you go to any other school, you're not going to see that. That's from being in Pleasant Valley. Nowhere else are they going to do that. And I feel for them, because it's going to change when they go to another school.
Yeah.
They're not going to have
These students are mirroring what they're seeing in the teaching staff,
Yes.
So
and the
that reflects
principal and whatnot. So
And it also reflects on what
Yes,
on
that's
the
right.
parents, the kind of people we have out here.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, thank y'all for y'all's time. I'm going to
Thank
close
you.
real quick. You're very welcome. Let me close out real fast, and we'll be done. All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Please get with these three amazing folks, and it's heartbreaking. It really is. My name is Alex. I'm signing out. Conservatives of Texas. I'm also a Randall County Republican chair for 111. We do hybrid meetings for the precinct and also Conservatives of Texas every third Thursday, 7 p.m. Comanche Trail Church of Christ, 2700 Southeast 34th, 7 p.m. And Eastside interests. We'd love to meet you guys and engage with these situations all throughout the city. We love our town.
Yes.
And
we love Pleasant Valley, that's part of Amarillo.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. I think that went really good.
Thank you.